Hello guys, welcome, I'm SimUK. This is Bee Simulator, a game that's available on PC, Xbox, PS4 and Switch. Released out on the Epic Store on the 14th of November 2019. It will set you back £31.99 on the Epic Store. And it says that it will be available on Steam at the end of 2020. Not entirely sure what the delay is there. Probably an Epic special deal. But there's no price on Steam, so I don't know if it's going to be cheaper there or not. It's developed by Varsav Game Studios and it's been published by Big Ben, who have sent me a copy. Thank you so much for doing that, Big Ben. Really appreciate it. And yes, this is an educational, family-friendly game. It's aimed at children of the age of 7 and up. And basically, you start life as a bee larvae, and then you hatch into the hive, and almost immediately, as you would expect with a bee, you're tasked with pollen collecting. That's after a bit of control practice and sort of a very basic tutorial. I found the controller to be absolutely spot on, but the keyboard and mouse, I definitely needed to put the mouse sensitivity right up to maximum so that I could actually turn in the game. But once I did that, it worked pretty well, and it's an enjoyable experience. So pollen comes in 5 flavours. There's white, green, yellow, red and the very elusive purple. And they're all represented by circles. The pollen is collected by you flying through these circles, but you can only see the colours when you're in bee vision. Each colour is progressively less common to find and worth more pollen in total. And you have 2 meters in the bottom left hand corner, a pollen meter and a speed boost meter. The speed boost meter is filled up by collecting multiple identical pollen types in a row, or the much quicker method is to find a human snack that has been left or is waste and get yourself a sugar high. Once your pollen meter is full up, you return to the hive and then you offload the pollen. Although there was no mention of it when I played the game, it does seem that when you are full up, it's a little bit harder to fly, and I think you actually fly a little bit slower as well. That could just be because I keep running out of boost so very, very quickly. Initially, pollen collecting is your primary task. In fact, it's your only task. In actuality, for the entirety of the game, that is officially your only task. But along the way, you will have multiple little tasks that you need to complete. There are some mini games which are quite fun, and there are some battles against wasps, hornets, and even other bees. So I'm not going to give you any spoilers about the game, but basically your hive is based in a tree, and that tree is going to be removed by the pesky humans. Humans are bad, mostly. So the hive is under threat, and a new home, or a new hive I should say, needs to be found. And your task, unfortunately, is just to collect pollen, so you can't really assist with anything. But somehow, you also get wrapped up in the search for a new home. Along the way, there are a number of tasks and challenges that you're going to need to complete. And this game is very interesting. It's totally unique. And I think it looks absolutely lovely. I really do. The sound when you're collecting pollen is incredibly pleasant. And at times, it's almost musical. The background music as well is pretty good, but it's very, very loud. In fact, everything's incredibly loud except for the voice acting, which is too quiet. But if you turn off the music, then some of the cutscenes seem to go completely silent, which is a bit of a problem. I'll be honest, at first the game seemed to be a little bit underwhelming, quite small, and pretty boring. But once you get into the game a little bit more and you progress and you make your way outside and you start interacting with the pretty large 3D interactive world, which is split over 7 fairly decently sized locations, especially when you consider that you're just a bee, then the world is actually pretty good. There's a lot of interactive tasks and challenges to complete that you can find all over the place. There's Sting the Bully, which unfortunately is not as fun or as easy as it sounds. There are fights, there are time challenges, mini quests, and I really quite like the racing. That was actually quite a lot of fun, but quite difficult as well. The game can be played in single player mode, multiplayer co-op, and even PvP, but as I had a preview version of this, I couldn't actually test that out. Overall, I liked the game. I enjoyed flying around in the world and looking at it from a bee's perspective. I know for a fact my daughter is going to absolutely love it too. When she gets home from school, she's going to be getting to play on this game. I genuinely appreciated the emphasis on educating kids about pollination and the importance of bees in the world, but I just felt that this game lacked a little bit of polish. A little bit too much to justify its price tag of £31.99. The storyline is certainly adequate for the 7+ age bracket, and the voice acting is, on the most part, perfectly adequate too. But the game as a whole just had some areas which stood out as being a little bit lackluster. Like there was some corner cutting going on, like the cutscenes, for example, of which there were many, and the typos that I found in the game, which obviously they're easily fixed. But overall, the game just lacked any sort of real high-end polish. It didn't have that Shazam, if you will. Now, bearing in mind, I'm a 40-year-old man. This wasn't ever intended to be entertaining for me, and as such, the vast majorities of the issues or the things that I've mentioned in the game are not going to be considerably important to a 7-year-old. But the price tag, that will be important to mum and dad. And I don't know, I'm just not sure this game quite has £31.99 worth of polish on it. It's a good game, don't get me wrong. I did like it. I do like it. I enjoyed playing the game. And although I found the controls were a little bit clunky at times, I know that my daughter's going to be all over this, and she is desperately going to love the free play mode, which is available once you've completed the main game. The long and short of it is that I think the price is too high, and as such I think it's likely going to be on sale around about Christmas or maybe in the new year. And I would say that it's definitely a great game to snap up if it's around the £15 to £20 mark. At that price, I think it has enough longevity to justify the cost. It is a lovely game. It's warm, it's positive, it's rewarding, and in many ways, kids will absolutely enjoy loving to play this as a bee. But I just wonder if it will be for that long. I'm not entirely sure. There's a lot to do, and once you unlock the free play, you can definitely go and take on a lot of challenges. But certainly for the younger players, I kind of feel like some of the challenges might be too hard. Now in defense of the game, there are 2 difficulty levels. There's easy and there's hard. I haven't actually tried easy, but on hard, it's definitely going to be, I think, too hard for a 7-year-old to really master. Maybe some exceptional players will be able to cope with it, but yeah, I overall, this is a really lovely little game. It really is fun. I love the premise of it. Everything about this game is positive, mostly. It just lacks polish, and I think the price tag is too high. That's really my take on it. But it's a good game. If you get it and play it, I think you'll find it very, very nice to play. Very interesting in many ways. I learned quite a lot about bees. Some really quite surprising facts, although many of them do sort of flash up and disappear a bit too quickly for me to read, but they are repeated many times over, so you will eventually figure out what those interesting facts are. It's a good game. It really is a nice game. It really does tick a lot of boxes, and I think for youngsters especially, it's going to be a big positive. And I'll be honest with you, there aren't enough good kids games out there. So yeah, I'm going to give this a thumbs up, but if you can get it in the sale, you'll be getting a much better deal for your money. God, I feel really guilty about this review right now, but that's honestly how I feel about it. And I'll be interested to hear anyone's thoughts that plays it, to either justify my stance on this or beat me into submission. I don't know which. But hopefully that's given you some insight into the game. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourselves until next time. Goodbye.